the Honorable Sandia Bradshaw, Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, Mrs. Alison Saunders, Managing Director, SFA Communications, Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw, Principal, Acting Erdiston Teachers Training College, Mr. Jerry Haynes, Registry Clerk and Coordinator of the Give Back Program, Erdiston Teachers Training College, Mr. Christian Trotman, President of the Students Guild Interim, Erdiston Teachers Training College, faculty, staff, the students of Erdiston Teachers Training College, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And he said, my presence will go with you. It is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. God promises us in his word that he will never leave us nor forsake us. We now welcome our head gardener, Mr. Anderson Bain, to invoke God's presence in our midst. Mr. Bain.
Good morning. Let us pray. Merciful Father, we acknowledge you at this presence. We know, dear God, that you are the one who gave us the power and the strength to do all that you have called us to do. This morning, dear God, we acknowledge you as the Creator, our Protector, and our Provider. We acknowledge, dear God, that you have called us here this morning for a specific reason, for a purpose. And one, dear God, that have the potential to build, foster relationships, dear God, and at the same time, to give of our best as we indeed, as citizens of this country, as staff and as students of the Erdiston Teachers Training College, to do all that we can in order to indeed bring the possibilities of this program, the Give Back program, to fruition. Dear God, this morning, we give you thanks for all who are here this morning to make this possible, all those who have worked hard to make it possible. We know the strength came from you. We thank you for that. We thank you, dear God, for the government of Barbados who have made it all possible. And we pray, God, as we work together to ensure that the program reaches potential, that it serves its purpose, dear God. We ask that you strengthen us and continue, dear God, to open our hearts and our minds to work together as it fosters relationships, as it gives us more incentives, dear God, to have better skills and just to share the skills that each individual would have. We thank you again for this opportunity. Do bless it, dear God. Bless every heart that is here and all who will be involved, and by extension, the citizens of this country. We thank you again for the government and all that they will continue to do, dear God, to ensure that we work with them to make this happen. We thank you again. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Bain. Having a sense of civic responsibility is important. It helps persons to make their mark in something that is much bigger than themselves. Today we have gathered here, connected by the common thread of the need to perform tasks that signal our repatriation of benefits we have received from the community. To offer welcome remarks to those who have gathered here on the occasion of the launch of Erdiston Teachers Training College Give Back program is no other than our Principal Acting, Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw. Let's welcome her to our podium.
The Honorable Sandia Bradshaw, Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training. Mrs. Alison Saunders, Managing Director, SFA Communications. Mr. Jerry Haynes, Registry Clerk and Coordinator of the Give Back Program, Mr. Christian Trotman, President of the Students Guild Interim at Erdiston Teachers Training College, faculty, staff, students at Erdiston Teachers Training College, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a pleasure to welcome you to the launch of the Give Back program at Erdiston Teachers Training College. We are happy that such an initiative has been implemented with the express aim of instilling a sense of responsibility in its citizens to contribute towards the development of Barbados through voluntary service to the community. There is a popular aphorism coined by Benjamin Franklin in the 18th century, which states that time is money. It can have many interpretations, but this morning I will briefly explain one interpretation as it relates to the Give Back program. The government of Barbados has invested in you students millions of dollars in education. Through this free, and I put that in inverted commas, tuition, you are able to pursue your dreams and realize your potential at this level. Concomitantly, through this Give Back program, you will be able to tangibly express your appreciation for the monetary investment that the government has made by giving of your time within your respective communities. Even though it is important for you to give back as part of the initiative, it is my hope that you will view this as an opportunity to grow and to learn more deeply about the communities that you will serve. At Erdiston, I believe that offering assistance within the various departments of the college will foster a greater understanding and appreciation for the people, the processes, and the products that lie within. This is but one of the benefits of community service. Literature states that community engagement can provide career experience, teach valuable job skills, teach social skills, and bring a sense of fulfillment to one's life, among other things. At the college, we look forward to providing those positive experiences for you as you engage with the college community. Again, I welcome you to the launch of the National Give Back program at Erdiston Teachers Training College, and we look forward to welcoming you here to serve as part of this National Give Back program. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramona Archer-Bradshaw, for your remarks. Director, facilitator, organizer, manager, all of these are terms or words, synonyms for the term coordinator. That person who is in charge of a project, the person who ensures that the person is responsible for performing various tasks in a project does what they're supposed to do. That person who is responsible for ensuring that all of the phases of a project are well directed and that the set expectations are realized. Our coordinator of the Give Back program is no other than Jerry Haynes. We now welcome him to the podium to deliver opening remarks.
Honorable Cynthia Bradshaw, Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, Mrs. Allison Saunders, Managing Director, SFA Communications, Dr. Ramona Archer-Bradshaw, Principal Acting, Erdiston Teachers Training College, Mr. Christian Trotman, President of the Students Guild Interim, Erdiston Teachers Training College, faculty, staff, students of Erdiston Teachers Training College, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This morning, we are here to officially launch the Give Back program at Erdiston Teachers Training College. What is this program, you may ask? It is a program specifically designed as a way for students to voluntarily give of their time and skills to help offset the cost of their tuition. We all know that the value of a good education vastly outweighs the price tag placed on it. The Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, under this current administration, has brilliantly developed a program which does not let your efforts of volunteering go unrecorded or unrewarded. Your time and skill can now be rewarded at Erdiston Teachers Training College, along with many other institutions throughout the island. At Erdiston, we boast of the fact that we operate like a family, and we all know in a family, when there's a job to be done, each family member pitches in to get the job done. At Erdiston College, we're no different. We are never at a loss for an eager student willing to lend a helping hand at our official functions, such as graduation. We have therefore incorporated these tasks into a part of our give back areas. Our volunteer areas include, but are not limited to, ushering at our events, gardening, singing in the choir, educational research, library assistance, and clerical duties. There are 373 students at the college who are eligible to access this program, and already 145 has signed up to do so. I believe this program allows students to have a better appreciation of the day-to-day functions of the institution and also add value to their educational experience by way of newly acquired skills. We are delighted to be a part of the Give Back program and look forward to embracing all volunteers to the Erdiston family, physically distanced, of course. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Haynes, for your remarks. One of the functions of the Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training is to contribute toward the spiritual, moral, mental, physical, social, cultural, and economic development of the community. This is operationalized through the Ministry of Education, through the work of the Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, which functions to ensure the creation of public value through the formulation, administration, and regulation of educational programs and initiatives. The Honorable Santia Bradshaw, Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, is passionate about her role. She is here today to offer remarks on the launch of the Give Back program. Let us welcome our Minister of Education, the Honorable Santia Bradshaw.
Thank you very much, Ms. Warner. It is indeed a pleasure to be here this morning. It's just a week after we would have launched the Give Back after such a long break during the COVID-19 pandemic at the Barbados Community College. I am particularly pleased to relaunch what we started at the University of the West Indies before the shutdown, because I think it is important that we visit each of the entities that are participating and which are the beneficiaries of this particular program. And therefore, while I may have said things at the first one that I said at the BCC just last week, I think it is important to reinforce the message to the students across all of the tertiary institutions, because we want to make sure that there's full participation and also a full understanding of why we are asking them to be involved in Give Back Barbados. I remember when this exercise first started and we started talking about giving back. Obviously, we saw it as something at the tertiary level. And, I remember saying to others in the ministry, this is bigger than tertiary institutions. The Give Back Barbados movement for me is really one which must inspire from the youngest child to the oldest person across the educational system and across Barbados. And as well, it has to inspire Barbadians living abroad who may also be studying outside, and also deeply connected to Barbados to be a part of giving back to this beautiful country. So Give Back Barbados is really not, for me, simply about government's investment in our people, but and those who are involved in tertiary education. But it is far wider. It is about a mindset that allows us to recognize that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we have a responsibility to give back to our country. We have a responsibility to give back to our communities, and most importantly, we have a responsibility to make sure that life is a little bit easier for those who are coming up. So here at the Erdiston Teachers Training College, we get the opportunity today to launch this program. I believe we have about 140 something students who've already registered. There are about 300 odd that will eventually, I'm sure, participate fully in the program. But why is it important to speak to this today? It's important because I believe we are, at this institution, responsible for educating the very people who will then in turn educate our young people and even our adult population in different ways. We have to start here because it is important that once the value system is created about giving back at the level of preparing to teach, then they too will then not only be the beneficiaries here of the program, but hopefully they will carry with them all that they've learned into the educational system and be able to impart that as well on all of the students across this country as well. So it's important that there is a sense of and an understanding of why we are involved in Give Back, what the overriding responsibility is beyond a program. So it's not just about counting hours. It is certainly about a mindset that will take you from this institution into your role as employees and employers, certainly across the system. We spend significant sums of money on education. I think about 11% of the budget is actually allocated to education. There have been many concerns over the years about the amount that Barbados spends. We may differ in some ways from administration to administration on the approach. But I think that for the most part, we all agree that education really, especially in a country where we don't have a lot of natural resources, that an investment in our people is certainly paramount if we are to ensure that every student becomes a global citizen. That said, this government took a decision to reverse what for us has been a backward step in relation to students not being able to access tertiary education a few years ago. And we did so not just because we made a promise to the people of Barbados, but we did so with a deep understanding of the importance of allowing every single person to have that opportunity to have social mobility. In many cases, education has been that barrier that has stopped people from being able to move from one level to the next. And we therefore consider it an important pillar in the development of Barbados, and one that should not be afforded only to the privileged, but also be afforded to every single Barbadian student, every single person who wants the opportunity to raise a standard of living, raise the bar, and also to be able to not just give back to Barbados, but certainly to give back to the rest of the world. So we took the decision to reverse the abolition of tertiary education being paid for by the Barbados government. We have had the delays in terms of getting it off of the ground simply because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but we had an exceptional response at the University of the West Indies. SFA Communications has been working with us to be able to develop the online presence, to answer a number of the questions that students may have, because we know that in this day and age of technology, it is important that students can be responded to as quickly as possible about questions that they may have. We've thought through how students will engage in the program. We met with various entities, trying to get a number of non-governmental organizations and also institutions as well as ministries involved in the entire exercise. I think we're probably close to 150 at this point in time. And there is still room for more, because our focus has been not just on things related to health and to the social welfare of our people, but we are asking persons to come forward to, again, to create organizations and certainly come to the fore to be able to give people the opportunity to serve in as many different capacities during the volunteer period. We also decided that it did not make any sense to simply only have persons being able to give back hours to one entity, because if you're like me, you like to do a lot of different things, and therefore I don't think people should be pigeonholed to only giving to one, but you should have the opportunity to be able to give back to more than one, so that you're in a position to get a true sense of Barbados and certainly all of the different efforts that are available to us across the country, all of the people who are helping to pull the weight across our society. So we've given students that opportunity to give back in different ways. And so far, the response has been positive. Obviously, as the chairman said, one of the biggest challenges in a COVID-19 environment is that people are having to change the structure of how they create opportunities for the Give Back program. Because where before you could have the opportunity to be, everyone would be in this room, large numbers going out to feed individuals on the street, for instance. We're having to make changes in terms of numbers, and it therefore has had a significant impact on a number of the entities that would otherwise have been able to create large opportunities for a wider cross-section of our people. That notwithstanding, COVID-19 has also presented us with the opportunity to think outside the box. And what we're seeing is a lot of entities coming forward with rather creative ways of being able to engage students. And I would certainly encourage the Erdiston Teachers Training College as well, not simply to be the recipient of just simply helping students to do clerical work and research. But I think there is particularly a large need in the society for ensuring that a number of the teachers who are in training are given the opportunity to do programs like homework programs within wider society. And maybe that national program can come from the Erdiston Teachers Training College as well. But those are all things that, as I said, require a different way of thinking because of what has transpired over the course of the last few months. But institutions have to see themselves as leading the charge as well of giving back. It isn't just simply about having students sign up for other entities, but about even through the students who are here, if they want to create an entity that then can be registered, and then they can then work with partners to be able to develop programs going forward. Those are all things that are possible and will perhaps require a wider engagement with the Ministry of Education. But we want to ensure that we don't limit people to the whole concept of giving back. And so we're very receptive to any new ideas and any new ways of thinking outside of the box. So I want to encourage the students at the Erdiston Teachers Training College. I know some of you may not have signed up as yet because obviously you were trying to figure out what was happening in terms of the program, but I want to officially indicate to you that we are up and running. We have relaunched. We have started to populate the pages again. We have started to answer the queries again in relation to getting started. Of course, there will always be things that we have to fine-tune, as with anything that is new. But the beautiful thing about all of this is that Barbados is yet again blazing a trail in relation to education. We are finding a different way, a very daring and a very bold way to pay for our education for our population. And I know that once you contribute as students, and certainly the institutions contribute to this exercise and really buy into this exercise, Barbados will no doubt yet again be heralded as a pioneer in the area of education. The Prime Minister always says we have to dare to be different. We also have to dare to dream. And part of that largely is about creating that mindset that says that giving back is in the interest of all. We want a better Barbados. How do we get a better Barbados? We have to create that sense of responsibility. So whether it is here within this program, or as I said before, in wider society, students really and this institution have a responsibility to find ways to be able to make this program work. And so I want to thank the institution for the support, the continued support, making sure that at every step of the way we've been able to answer the questions from the students. We've been able to work with them, particularly in areas where students may have felt that they were already giving so many hours, and being able to work with us to devise different ways to administer the program. And as I said, that is an ongoing process. And so we look forward to being able to not only get this off of the ground here at Erdiston, but certainly if all things continue on the current trajectory where our cases remain down in terms of our local transmission, that we are able certainly to resume as normal of activities as we are accustomed to, and we can see more activity being done by students across the Give Back program. So my few words really are good luck to the students. Erdiston, you have to help us carry the heavy load of this program, but I'm excited by what lies ahead, and together with SFA in the ministry, I believe that we can definitely make Give Back program not just a pilot, but certainly a national program which is recognized across the region and certainly indeed across the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Bradshaw, for your remarks. Thank you. Ronald Crawford Conway, an American venture capitalist and philanthropist, sometimes described as one of Silicon Valley's super angels, is a major part of several civic and philanthropic causes. Mr. Conway is of the opinion that giving back is a responsibility, and since success requires help from others, we should pay it forward by giving back to society and thus create a cycle. He puts it this way: I believe that we all have a responsibility to give back. No one becomes successful without lots of hard work, support from others, and a little luck. Giving back creates a virtuous cycle that makes everyone more successful. Mr. Conway's sentiments, therefore, echoes that expressed by our minister and captures the philosophy of giving back that has been articulated by her. Exemplifying this philosophy is none other than Christian Trotman, the president of the Guild of Students, interim, here at Erdiston Teachers Training College. We now welcome him to the podium to offer closing remarks.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning to everyone. Good morning. My duty here at this time is to move the vote of thanks. First, I would like to thank Mr. Henderson Bain for invoking God's presence in today's proceedings. Thanks to our acting principal, Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw, for her welcoming remarks and for the support that she has given to the initiative. To Mr. Jerry Haynes, thank you for giving your opening remarks as well as for coordinating the Give Back program at the college. A big thank you to the Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, the Honorable Miss Cynthia Bradshaw, our featured speaker. Thanks again for all that the government of Barbados and your ministry is doing in making provisions so that Barbadians may find it easier to have access to education again without having to struggle with large payments of school fees, and by starting the Give Back program so that students can understand the importance of giving back to their country and for what the government and people of Barbados is doing for them. To the Master of Ceremonies, Miss Sharon Warner, this program would not have flowed in such a smooth and professional manner without you directing the day's proceedings. To the members of staff and all other persons who played a role in organizing today's events, thank you. To the members of the media, thank you so much for being here, reporting and recording all that has been happening. Finally, a special thanks goes out to all of you here in the audience and those of you following via Zoom and on YouTube for your participation. My final job here as president of the Guild Interim is to encourage the students of Erdiston Teachers Training College to sign up and take part in the Give Back program. When all this information and instructions have been made available by the college, if you have any further questions at the time, don't be afraid to ask for assistance. We all would like to try as best as we can to make everything run as smooth as possible when appointing students to the various work environments attached to the program. Once again, thank you all and do enjoy the remainder of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, those in our virtual, who have joined us in the virtual presence, and those of you here, it has been an honor acting as chairperson for the launch of the Give Back program. I am Sharon Warner, and I thank you for listening. And this brings us to the end of our launch. Once again, thank you for joining us as we share this occasion for the launch of our Give Back program. Good morning.